Oh, good morning. I'm on my back deck. I had to wait till my allergies subsided before I done my show, so I still got a little sniffling left, but I'm gonna do it. I wanted to do it in the sunshine this morning out here because it's nice. It's beautiful. Another beautiful, gorgeous day. I'm thankful to God for it. Welcome to the show, my friends, my fellow believers. Okay, the glory of the celestial, the path transcendent. Love is the path suited to transcendence. 1 Corinthians 12:31. The Corinthians were not walking on that path. We, however, should pave our path with love. God is love. If it were not so, his transcendent power and glory might blast his creatures to perdition. Love is the source of his grace, which uses all his great power and glory for the benefit of all creatures. It is, first of all, his path. He transcends all, and his Son transcends all except him. As we transcend the rest and are the instruments through whom he operates, we must perforce pursue the same path in our contacts with others. Pursue the path. For those of us who lack sufficient knowledge to test the babble of voices about us, all of which claim to be quote-unquote Bible truth, perhaps the next best test is this. Do they pursue the path transcendence? In dealing with those who differ from them, it is done in love. Do they seek to help or to hurt? A long experience, especially in seeking to teach transcendent truth, has shown that those who oppose the truth also depart from this path. In that case, even a loving attempt to help them is unwelcome and avails little, and is almost infallible evidence that they are astray in doctrine also. It is useless to contend with anyone who harbors hate. We cannot have true fellowship. Bitter blasphemy, rabid reviling cannot find a place on a path transcendent. If we are tempted to mistreat those who differ from us, let us make sure that we are not strayed from the path of love. With all their gifts, the Corinthians lack love. In his perfection epistles, Paul seeks to root and ground the saints in love, in order to grasp the unmeasurable dimensions of the knowledge transcending love of Christ. For this alone may be completed for the entire complement of God. Ephesians 3:14-20. On earth we may use measures, but in space, where are the boundaries? We may measure up or down, right and left, but we will find no limits to the circumambient heaven. This is far above the scope of all previous revelation. God has made known his love throughout the eons, but he has never before had a background dark enough for its proper display. We are recipients of the richest treasures of his heart. Such is the radical revolution which occurred in the spiritual sphere in the era closing book of Acts and commencing in Paul's early epistles. The primitive passed by, lo, there has come new. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Nothing under the sun during the eons can be compared with it. The deluge, the Tower of Babel, the call of Abram, and the separation of the nation of Israel were insignificant and temporary when viewed in its light. The captivities of Israel, the coming of John the Baptist, and even the Messiah himself at the Pentecostal outpouring were not such complete convulsions as the repudiation of Israel and the conciliation of the world. Does Christendom greet this glorious creation with jubilation, as did the sons of God when the earth was created? Job chapter 38, verse 7. Do they leave the old things that have passed away for the far more gracious and glorious gratitudes of the new creation? Do they lay the death-dealing law of Moses aside? Do they leave the prophets to Israel? Do they leave the ministries of John the Baptist and our lowly Lord and those of his apostles to the circumcision with their failing flesh? Do they no longer recognize the flesh? No. They insist on going back to the old creation and ignoring the new. What blindness is so black? What stubbornness so strong as the refusal of Christendom to recognize the greatest spiritual upheaval in the history of humanity. They cannot see the difference between flesh and spirit, the gulf between earth and heaven, the chasm between law and grace, between circumcision and uncircumcision, between Peter and Paul, between the kingdom of Israel and the ecclesias of the nations, the administration of the secret and the era preceding. They refuse to take up their celestial abode in Ephesians, but insist on returning to and groveling on the earth in the book of Acts. Worse than this, they discredit and denounce and deride and defame the few who prefer to remain in the new creation which God's grace has given them. Let us thank God that in this way they can only enhance the transcendence of grace. The new creation in Christ, the new humanity, not the old humanity. What do we hold on to? We hold on to our lot, which is among the celestials. That's where our lot is. So yeah, you can see where Christianity, Christendom, the whole system, it's false, it's fake, it's putrid, it teaches lies rather than the truth. This is why we are kept low. You see, I do my show in my garage, my office, in my house, wherever. I could do it on a street corner, I could do it anywhere, you know, in the lowest possible place, but the truth is going to get out there. So it's not how you look or how you sound. I've said that lots, but it's the truth. For me, I sound how I sound, I look how I look on my show, but the message, like I said, that is God's message, the truth that is coming through. And what I read are the unsearchable riches. Why do I read them? Because there's many articles in there that are worthwhile sharing with everybody on this show. It's Friday, so I'm making a short show. I love you all. Have a wonderful Friday and a beautiful weekend.